About to be live, y'all. Y'all look dope.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. What's up, world? It's your boy Nas, God Kid Life Production in association with HipHopIsReal.com. We out here today in Baltimore. You already know we got 300. It's the 300th anniversary. 300 Gangstas. What's going on, y'all?
What up?
Yo, you know, it was a great event tonight. You guys had Mice on, Q Butter, and a few other guys out tonight, man, performing and everything, man. How'd you guys go about setting tonight up, man, for the anniversary?
Well, truth be told, tonight actually started 2 years ago. The first thing we did when we came together was strive to better the community. It wasn't like we started to say, well, 2 years from now we're gonna get my son and whoever else. We put the work in, and the work spoke for itself. And those that recognized the mission came aboard. And that's what led to tonight.
Just for the people who may not know and everything like that, who is 300 Gangstas?
Okay, well, now that's a good question. Now I appreciate that question. 300 Gangstas is a collective of individuals that's from Baltimore specifically, who saw what society needed and stood up to be what society needed in order for us to advance society. So people hear gangster and think street niggas, you know, thugs, robbers, murderers. But when we say gangster, we're saying gathering all nations, gaining salvation through advancing society. That's what gangster is to us. If you're not promoting the advancement of society, then you're not gangster. And if you're not gangster, you gotta get out the way. Ain't no issues in between that. It is what it is. Either you make it better or you make it worse. If you make it worse, you gotta go.
And how did the individuals come together? I see you, you know, if I could get an introduction of who you are and everything like that.
1,000 apologies. My name is Blaylin. Now, as far as how we came together during the Freddie Gray incident, different individuals from different walks of life, be they Crips, Bloods, Vice Lords, Disciples, Blackstone Rangers, BGFs, when that moment happened and we lost Freddie Gray, that brought a unity into the city of Baltimore itself that expanded throughout the state of Maryland. And we as 300 Gangstas are the spirit of Freddie Gray. We continue his legacy. Though people may not know who he is or what he did or what he was striving to do, even though he passed and he's no longer physically with us, his spirit is still here to 300 Gangsters. So as long as we here, he's here, and we're not going nowhere.
What gave you the, you know, motivation to, the courage to bring everybody together and actually name it that, knowing how society views us and things like that?
Well, to be honest with you, society holds no merit in this.
Okay.
It's not about society, it's about the people. The citizens of Baltimore, those that live this struggle, those that's been through it, who grew up in the conditions that we see now, poverty, drug addiction, alcoholism. That's 300 Gangstas, those that been through that and rose above that. What society labels it and what media labels it holds no merit. We don't even acknowledge that, so we don't even speak on that. Let the media say what they say. Those that's been here tonight and those that have been through this struggle know what it is.
What are you guys, you guys, there's a lot of you guys, man. Is it really 300? You know what I'm saying? I see a couple of you guys here tonight, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Is the family, the short family to the extended family? How's that?
Answer to that question is this. You ever seen a movie, with 300 Sparta and all that?
Yes, of course.
Okay, of course it was 300 that was initially out there on the front line. It was way bigger than that. So to say it's just 300 would be limited. It's endless. It's not bound to just 300. We just the foundation of it. The 300 you hear about, that's the foundation. That's the beginning of it.
In Baltimore, man, I've seen a lot of guys come in and do work, and even artists like Hollow the Don I've seen come out here, Polite and things like that. And from what I'm hearing is you guys have a big influence in that, in helping some of these things happen and feeding some of these guys. What's your guys' role when it comes to helping out the community and things like that? And even bringing some people out and things like that.
Okay, when you say role, what exactly do you mean, so I can answer your question correctly?
Mainly, what do you guys take when it comes to the community and people coming in, helping out and things like that? What part and play do you guys play?
Okay, well, as far as helping the community, that's our first objective.
Okay.
And anybody willing to come into the city of Baltimore and help out, then why not reach out to us? because we deal with the people on a constant basis, day in and day out. Whether it's the homeless, it's children that's in dire situations, whether it's foster care, whether it's abused women, whether it's addicted men, it doesn't matter. Like 300 Gangstas is here to deal with that. And if you're from out of town and you don't know who to go to or who to help or how to go about helping it, that's where we come in. We're the bridge that links it all.
How do like people get in contact or even join? Is it an organization people can join? How do more people join in there?
Well, as far as an organization people can join, yes you can. And if you want to reach out to us, by all means, my name is Blayland. My phone number is 205-253-6993. Hit me up at any time via text message or call. And from there we can begin whatever you want to begin. Even if it's stepping 300 in your state, we can do that too.
Some people may not know, because they're not from Baltimore and everything, but from what you hear, Baltimore is a rough city, a rough place where, a lot of things have happened. We've seen The Wire and things like that. Maybe perception, if you're not from here, this is the mindset you might get and everything. What do you guys do, like if maybe, you guys being in the neighborhoods and things like that do to combat some of the things that's happening in the city and in the neighborhood?
Well, truthfully, Wire was a good show. I got the whole season on DVD, so respect that. But now the reality is, The Wire set a stereotype for Baltimore. Okay. Though at one point you can say that yes, it was like that, but what Baltimore is now is totally different. And 300 Gangstas is the difference in Baltimore. It's not the fact that we had heroin addiction, we had heroin sellers, and it looked good on TV. In real life, we have homeless people striving to find a better way. We have abused children striving to find a better way. We have abused females striving to find a better way. 300 Gangstas is that better way. And the only way that we can make it better is if we pool our resources educationally, economically, politically, socially, and spiritually to achieve that goal. That's what 300 is about.
Do you guys also deal with community leaders like politicians and things like that in that nature too, or is it all base street organized and like that?
With all due respect to any politician that's running for office or that's in office, we are the politicians. Okay. If you're not in tune with society for what it is, not what your campaign wants to represent, it's not about your campaign, it's about the people. The people are first. And that's what we deal with, the people. What the people need, what the people strive for. That's it. Bottom line, it's not about the people, not about us.
Wow, that's really dope, man. And especially, the kids growing up, it's a whole different type of situation for them. Internet, social media, and things like that. Do you guys have social media outlets and things like that where you guys talk to younger generations and the generation coming up from after, the older guys and things that happened before?
Well, we're striving to actually create a mentoring program under the banner of 300 Gangstas, where we deal with the youth that's incarcerated in juvenile detention centers, those that's on their way to prison, those that haven't even begun to even strive to hit that path. Elementary school kids, we're striving to mentor those as well. And again, my contact information, by all means, use it. And any mentoring you need, from dealing with drug abuse, spousal abuse, child abuse, whatever the case may be, we're here to deal with that. Because personally, as 300 Gangstas, we believe that as a society, if we as individuals are not accountable, then the government shouldn't be accountable. We're the first step, we're the front line, period, bottom line. There is no anything else outside of us.
Now, for people who may be watching this and they say, yo, I really love the movement, and these guys, I want them in my city and things like that. Do you guys branch out to other cities and other neighborhoods?
Most definitely.
Okay.
We eager to do it, looking to do it. We hoping to do it. Like as of today, contact me and we will be there within the next week. That's how sincere we are.
That's amazing, because we find it a lot now. It's getting harder to have unity. A lot of people, whether it's, and mainly on a social aspect, when people are watching maybe leaders and different people going back and forth, people that, you give your time and your effort and your energy to when you get information. What gave you guys, it was just really the death of Freddie Gray that really brought you guys together to this level?
That was the nucleus. To be truthful with you, let's remove leaders per se. We're going to deal with the reality of it. The reality is that we saw a condition in our city specifically, and we recognized that it was going on in every other city outside of our own. And we as men became accountable and stood up to do what needed to be done. And sadly, you know, R.I.P. to Freddie Gray, and may God bless his family, it took that moment for us to realize that this is what we needed to do. And I give credit to those that have been pioneers before us, be it the Black Panther movement, the Bloods, the Crips, the GDs, the Blackstones, everything that set a foundation for us to move out on. Nation of Islam, the FOI, the MGTs, those they have been the communities before us. They set a format before us. Now it's time for the next stage of that format, to where we're hands-on, we're intimate with the people. It's not just, okay, well, we see what's going on, here's a few dollars, y'all do what y'all do. No, we hands-on, we see what's going on. Here's our dollars, here's our face, here's our time, here's our presence. Because we got to resurrect our own people. The government ain't gonna do it for us.
Yeah. You mentioned a few groups that have come before us and that have laid down a lot of, you know, steps for us to walk and follow and things like that. Have you guys been met with resistance, especially knowing Freddie Gray's incident with off police and things like that, and many of instances where, you know, young Black, African, young women and everybody face different, you know, situations with police officers? Have you guys been met with any type of resistance or negativity and things like that for the positive movement you guys are doing?
Believe it or not, the most resistance we've experienced has been from those that thought they were on the front line fighting for the people. That's been our biggest resentment. Because people do it for a campaign reason, for a publicity stunt, for fame. Like, we're not out here for that. We're out here for the people, literally. So when we come out here to feed the homeless, like when you saw Polite giving away the pizzas, when you saw us giving away the turkeys, people that want recognition for that has been our biggest resentment. And that's cool. Resent us for doing the right thing. That's all right. We don't mind being judged for being right. Just know that when we're out here in the communities doing the right thing and what needs to be done, if you out here for fame, publicity, votes, campaign, whatever you out here for, other than the people, you will be ran from out here. Period. Bottom line. We accept no fakes, no frauds, no bullshit, no lollygagging. Either put the work in or get on. Bottom line.
I love that. Tonight, you guys had a dope
Pardon
event.
my language.
And, you know, I seen, you know, you guys brought some dope guys and a lot of guys, you know, talking some real stuff in their music. How much does hip-hop play a role in what you guys are also doing now as well?
Hip-hop is actually the biggest cornerstone to what we're doing. Not just 300 Gangstas, as a people, period. Because hip-hop influences our youth. And no disrespect to anybody that's rapping, mumble rappers or whatever rappers you call yourselves, whatever, it don't make no difference. Your message is what reaches the people. Every chick now want to be bad and bougie because whatever the name is said that shit in the song. And unfortunately, they bad and bougie with no education. They bad and bougie with 3 baby daddies and don't know who it is. Everybody want to be trap niggas and be famous for selling dope and can't even do mathematics. That's the real issue. Fuck the music. Because the music holds no relevance if there's no substance in the music. That's why I give credit to rappers like Jeezy, who's making a change in what he was doing. Now, we as 300 Gangstas have tapped into the hip-hop industry to let people know that, look, there's things that can be done as hip-hop artists. You're accountable for educating the youth. We're trying to bring back that self-destruction era, that we're all in the same gang message. To understand that it's not just music, it's a message. And if you're not delivering the message, you got the music. And if you don't got the music, then hey, we're gonna keep it gangster. You're gonna move out the music.
And another thing I want to ask, you know, you guys got the name 300 Gangsta. I know is what it stands for now once you explained it to me. What do you guys do when it comes to like the gangs of the street culture and things like that? You know, like do you guys get involved like the Panthers have did and cleaning up the neighborhood and making sure, you know, because you know, is that,
let's
you know,
deal with that.
because that, you know, that's a real situation.
That's a big part of it.
You know what I'm saying? There's brothers that's going to be like, yeah, I'm not with that right now. I'm trying to do this, that, and the third. How do you guys deal with that?
Okay, well, let's deal with that subject specifically.
Uh-huh.
Me, myself, I'm growth and development. Under the vision of our Honorable Chairman, Larry Hoover Sr., we strive for education, economical, political, social development, unity, and organization. That's what we do as GD. So we're in the community feeding the homeless, cold clothes drives, doing whatever we can to make the community better, even community cleanups. We do that. He's a blood. You know the history of blood with T. Rogers, what they've been doing. So when you see a blood and a GD together, then you automatically know we're involved in the gang activity as far as making it what it's supposed to be, not what you see in media. Because no disrespect to any movie that's came out, but Colors fucked it up. Because that's not what Crips and Bloods was about. First Time Felon fucked it up. That's not what GD and Vice Lords was about. These were community organizations built to educate the youth and promote them to be better individuals in society. We're bringing it back to that, to where we as individuals stand accountable, even with our gang affiliations, to know that, okay, yeah, I represent GD. Yeah, I throw up the L's or the pitchforks or brims or whatever I throw up. But I know that my community is first. My women are my first priority. My children are my first priority. So it's not about, oh, you wear red or you wear blue, so we beefing. It's about, okay, you wear red, you wear blue. Okay, let's see how we can unify these things and make our community better as a whole. Because if we don't have our own communities on lock, then we're gonna lose them every time.
Yo, nah, that's real. I wanted to also ask you, just when you're looking at the youth and everything like that, what advice do you give to the young dudes who might be caught up in the street life and things like that? Knowing that, you know, sometimes it's hard, especially growing up, if you don't have, you know, a stable household. It's easy to, you know, band in with brothers and other people that's doing things. What advice do you give to guys that may seem like there's no hope? You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you asked that question, because that question has multi-layers. One thing is the fact you got to realize that the youth nowadays, they go into the drug culture, not because it's cool to do, because that's their only option out of the condition that they're in. That's their scapegoat. Even with myself, for example. You know, I didn't like the lifestyle that I grew up in, living in poverty, mother addicted to drugs. So naturally, my thing was what's around me that I could utilize to make myself better. Unfortunately, it was selling drugs. I did that. That's my past. So now it's about, okay, you see your condition. Let's pool our resources. Okay, you hustle. That's fine. But what skills do you have outside of hustle? You know, what can you utilize, whether it be the fact that you're a chemist, because you know how to mix products to actually chop it up and do what you do. Whether you're a mathematician, because you know how to count it, weigh it, whatever it may be. Let's utilize that to be entrepreneurs, to open up our own businesses, to take control of our neighborhoods. That's the beginning process of it. We get caught up in what TV says, because we want to look like, you know, we're famous, we're rich. We got to redefine that in itself, bring it back to the core essence. And specifically with 300 Gangstas, what we do with the youth is we see what they're going through. We understand their struggle. We don't knock them for how they hustle. We show them how to make that hustle work for you. Whether it's selling candy. And everybody grew up with a candy lady. Like, real talk. Everybody had a candy lady in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? No matter what kind of candy she sold. Similar to the street game. You got your candy that you sell. You bag it up, you weigh it out, you make sure it is what it is, and you ship it. This is the same skill. You don't have to sell dope to be the candy lady. You can just be the candy man, the candy lady. Sell whatever you need to sell legally to be able to achieve your goal. Unfortunately, society has taught us that we need dope, we need weed, we need crack, we need cocaine, when we don't. The corner stores sell what we need to get us up on our feet. Which, by the way, just for the record, 300 Gangstas next year, we'll be doing a newsletter. We will be opening up a corner store. We will be doing a lot of things to actually promote black economics. So when you see black, shop black.
And that was kind of going into my next question, just about you guys beginning. Like, when did you guys actually start, and how much growth have you seen from when you guys did start to now?
Well, if we say when we started,
Yeah.
to say, okay, on this date at this time would be hypocritical.
Okay.
Because we are continuous of a mission.
Okay.
Like, prime example, when on July 4th, 1930, Mesfar Muhammad made his appearance, and he began what we now know as the Nation of Islam. And that began with black economics, pooling the black resources, us as a community tapping in with each other and doing what we gotta do. This is a continuance. When the Blood started, when the Crips started, when the Blackstone started, when the GD started, when it became Black Gangster Disciples, like those things were stages and degrees in us perfecting what we had to do as a black community. So to say when we got started would be stereotypical. We are a continuance of what God has ordained to be, which is the resurrection of our people. Because the condition that we're in now is not what we were designed to be.
That's right. For 300 though, for your specific movement and the birth of 300, how much have you guys seen, the effect of what you guys been doing on?
As for 300 Gangstas specifically,
yeah, specifically.
I can say that our starting point was the Freddie Great Riots. Because at that moment, we all realized that we are what we needed. And we are what we had to make the change. Whether we came from different walks of life, different organizations, different religious beliefs, at that moment we understood that we were all we had, we all that we needed. And we started from just protecting our corner stores to making sure that when the riots popped off, black stores wasn't robbed, they wasn't broken into, black people wasn't abused, black folks wasn't murdered. We started from that moment to what you see now with this event tonight. We've fed homeless, we've clothed the homeless, we've protected the women, we've looked out for the children, we've given things to schools. We've done all those things, but those are small steps.
Have you seen the progress in what you guys have been doing?
Oh, definitely. And I can say that because this interview right here. You're a prime example of our progress. 2 years ago, you weren't interviewing us. We weren't having this conversation. My son didn't even know of us 2 years ago. Chia Ali didn't know of us 2 years ago. To now, sitting here in front of this camera talking to you, being videoed right here, the young lady right here, my son on the stage, Chia Ali. And I gotta say to both those men, salute for coming home from prison, standing your ground, doing what you gotta do, and reaching out to our people. Because I've been listening to Chia Ali since age number the number. You know what I'm saying? My son since he was on the Rough Rider compilation. So this is this is a completion of something. It's not a beginning, but it's a completion.
Nah, that's dope, man, and it's always good to see, the turnaround. Do you guys also do things like that for guys who are coming home? Because I know that's also a strenuous situation, and just how you guys are able to keep it together as such a strong unit. You know what I'm saying? Just on a day-to-day type of thing.
Well, our unity is built on the fact that we're sincere about what we do. Like when we put on events, it's out of our pocket. When we reach out to people, it's out of our heart. We don't look for notoriety from it. And if you're not doing anything sincerely, then it's not gonna last long anyway. Like this is what we do for real as individuals. Like when I met him, he was doing what he do. When I met Boone, he was doing what he do. When they met me, I was doing what I do. And we realized, you know what? Since all of us are doing the same thing on different platforms, let's unite these platforms and pool our resources. No matter what the situation is, rain, hail, sleet, snow, that's not gonna stop us. Like it snowed today, and you see we still here.
Nah, that's real. I just want to say, man, I want I see everybody here, man. I kind of get one introduction to everybody that's kind of here.
My fault, my apologies.
Nah, man. Just kind of everybody's role, or if I could just get an introduction of everybody here.
But I'll let each man introduce himself. I don't,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just PFK Boone, the political arm of 300 Gangstas. Political arm, that's what I do.
The what?
The political arm of 300 Gangstas.
What is the political arm?
Anything to do with politics from the streets to the seats, that's what I handle. All politics.
Real talk, man. So you make sure, you know, any situation that needs to be handled, you the guy to talk to. Politically. How is that situation, dealing with that and different individuals and stuff like that?
I've been doing it all my life, and it's very easy, and that's why I'm in the one of the best seat in the nation, which is 300 Gangstas. Very easy. That's what I do. We all have lanes, and that's my lane in politics.
Also, you also into the music as well?
The music is just an avenue politically as well. It's a political statement.
Nah, that's dope, man. And the gentleman right here?
Big Wolf, founder 300 Gangstas.
Big Wolf, what's going on? Also, if we get a little background on yourself and everything like that as well?
Pretty small background. Gang banging all my life in the blood. Been shot 13 times, 5 different times. Been 2 cones, got 1 relative lifestyle.
What made you decide to, you know, come together with the brothers, you know what I'm saying, and living the lifestyle you've lived, and to actually change it around and focus on the positivity?
Well, it started from beating the police up.
Like that?
Yeah. It started from beating the police up in the riots. And went from interview that my co-founder put me on to, and that's how 300 Gangstas started. It was started through just an interview and a saying. It wasn't like we planned to do this. You know, they asked us about an organization that was out there, and I said, nah, it's nothing but a bunch of gangsters. I said, matter of fact, we're gonna call it 300 Gangstas, and that's how we got started.
One thing I gotta ask you, man, some people probably don't understand the level, but what is it like being in a riot where you guys are from and seeing the situation? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I come from New York, I live in Long Island. I've never seen that, but watching it on TV and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? While the whole world is living their life, while people are living through this chaos.
I thought the same thing too that you thought. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? I first seen it on TV, like, I wonder how that really is, how that really felt until you actually end it. And it's like you go into this mode. Like, I'm supposed to be there. Like, he's supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? I'm a blood. You know what I'm saying? He's a GD. He's a blood. He's a blood. You feel me? We're supposed to be there. That's just in our nature. You know what I'm saying? To the community. So it wasn't nothing for me for him to be there. It was nothing. It was something that we supposed to do in the first place. And if he was a blood and he was a Crip, he wasn't out there. You're not a real blood. You're not a real Crip. Let's start from the community in the first place. So that's just our background, period. So if you wasn't out there, to me, you're not a real blood. You're not a real Crip.
When in those riots though, and it's going crazy like that, are the police that aggressive or that disrespectful, or are they helpful, or is it really that, you know, chaotic? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, any of you guys.
To answer that question, real simple. The police killed Freddie Gray. So to say, are they really that aggressive? That's self-explanatory. They killed Freddie Gray.
Well, you know, it's more like this. They killed Freddie Gray, then threw a party. Let's keep it 300.
See, I wasn't gonna mention the party, bro. Since you brought it up, go for it. Do what you do.
They threw
they threw a party.
Once the pigs beat their little charges, they came back to the hood where he was murdered at. They threw a party, fed the people, put the little basketball ring, the little basketball frame on the paddy wagon. What they call it? The Freddie Gray wagon.
The Freddie Gray wagon.
And they played with the kids, played basketball. Like it never happened.
Damn. That's crazy. I mean,
now what's crazy is that the people allowed it to happen.
That's the crazy part.
That's the crazy part.
That's the crazy part.
When you see that, what does it say about our people where we're at? You know what I'm saying? Do you think
Only be lost.
You think it's just a level of fear from so many years?
No.
Lost. Just lost?
We lost.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut right now.
Me personally, I don't deal with the police. I wish I could push a button and all just die. That's just my opinion. I don't deal with the police. That's just I don't rock with police. Period. I'm not shaking hands. I'm not taking no pictures. I'm not doing no videos. I'm not doing no interviews. I don't deal with the police. Period.
Okay, let's be honest. And if I offend anybody, fuck you. Here's what it boiled down to. We've been programmed to believe that we need the police to protect our communities. We don't. We are the protection of our community. That's how it's been since we were in our own country, back in our motherland before slavery. We protected our communities. We're going back to protecting our communities. We don't need no outside interference trying to tell us how to protect our people. If it wasn't for the outside interference in the beginning, we wouldn't be in the situation that we in now. That's just period, point blank. Now we can make it sound good for interviews or TV or whatever the fuck we want to make it sound good for. That's not the truth of it. The truth of it is the bottom line is this. We taking control of our neighborhoods. We keeping out those that's causing the problem. And sadly to say, those that sworn to protect and serve are part of the problem. That's the reality of it. And with the solution.
I'm
And
rocking with that.
and the solution is you kill one of ours, you kill
You're
one of yours.
Done, yo.
Now, that's if listen, and I'm the one that's raw and uncut with it. I'm only holding back to a certain degree. But in order for you to be a member of this, you have to be willing to kill, die, or go to prison for it. If you're not willing to do that, this ain't for you. This ain't no hands up, don't shoot shit. We ain't walking around. We not walking around saying Black Lives Matter. We not saying none of that shit. We don't protest. We don't do none of that shit. That ain't what we about. So this ain't for a lot of people that's out there.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about time that we have that type of energy because it seems like, everyone is assimilated. And like you said, once you assimilate, you allow the cops to police us and do whatever they want. And now, we're at a time now where we do need to take control, do need to have our own schools. Because even now, what do you guys think? Because one of the things that I know is important is me, I'm about to be a father for the first time. And it's really like, do I want my baby born in that hospital with all them shots?
Congratulations.
Do I want, thank you, do I want them to be raised to be taught this homosexual agenda at a young age about, you can't call them boys or girls and all that? It's like, it's a real situation. So it's like, where do we go to still keep what's ours? You know what I'm saying? And I do appreciate you guys for this movement. You know what I'm saying?
Forgive me for interrupting.
No problem.
But now I want to ask the viewers a question.
Okay.
Since, it's a big platform. The reality is, how far are you willing to go to make sure the next generation is provided for educationally, economically, politically, and socially? If you're not willing to go to the extreme for that, then you're not part of our society. That's just bottom line. We had the civil rights movement in the 50s and the 60s that was designed to say, you know what? We're going to put our lives on the line to make sure the next generation is taken care of, that they have what they need. And unfortunately, that generation sold out. It became the consumer rights movement. They wanted to buy burgers and sit with folks and be accepted amongst them, whatever the fuck. Anyway, fuck that. The reality is, it's time for separation. That's what it's that, period. There is no in between. We try integration, we try mingling, we try socializing, we tried assimilating, we tried going to Harvard, Yale, and all these prestigious schools that society says, well, you know what, if you go to this school and you get this education, then everything's all right. You know what? You're an A1 nigga now. We've tried that. Ain't none of that shit work. So what it boils down to, period, point blank, is that we establish our own schools, our own economical society, our own political system, our own social standards based on what we need as a people. And when I say we, I mean blacks, Mexicans, Orientals, anybody that's not of our own. And if you happen to be white, which is not of our own, so be it. Hey, when in Rome, do as a Romans and do what the fuck you do. That's just period, point blank, bottom line. No sugar, no tea, period. Your children need an education. The school system don't work. The average black college graduate reads on a high school level and they're a college graduate. That's the reality of it. The average black male, if you're not playing sports, you have no place in society. The average black female, if she's not twerking, stripping, or prostituting, she's not worthy of anything. The average black male, if you're not an entertainer, you hold no weight in society. That has to change. And if we not gonna change it, we gonna stay slaves. And really, shackles don't fit me. I know shackles don't fit him. I did 12 years in prison. I know shackles don't fit. He lost a leg to the struggle, so I know shackles not gonna fit good on him.
At all. I'm gonna escape.
So we gonna have to break the shackles. And this is where we start. And the 300 that you see now, that you hear about as 300 as a title, if you look at the movie, Sparta with the 300, those 300 men died on the front line for the rest of their people to be free. If you read Message to the Black Man, you'll find that 300 men sacrificed their lives for the next generation. You looking at 300 again. So you decide which side of 300 you're going to be on. The side that makes progress or the side that gets ran over. That's what it is.
I mean, this, meeting you guys, man, this was definitely very powerful. I want this to resonate through the cameras, to the viewers, to everybody, because I think this is something that we all need to adapt. One thing I just want to ask, though, you mentioned separation, and you mentioned some of the things we need to do to get that. How do we create our own neighborhoods, though? Because at the same time, to have these things, we have to own land and get neighborhoods and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Are you guys providing courses, classes, or something where we could educate each other to know how to take over to actually get these things done? Because we know a lot of brothers. I just went to Jersey not too long ago, heard Farrakhan speak. You know what I'm saying? And he went in and talked about separation, and he's on it. You know, talking about he's ready to die today. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was motivating. But it's like, you know, after he leaves, what do we do after that? What's the next step? You know what I'm saying? And I know it starts with the individual, but you know,
as a collective, that's what you asked. Oh, because I was about to go in.
Yeah, I want you to go in, but I want. That's why I say you do what you do, you heard? But I want everybody else to say, who they are and where they from, and some things that nature. Everybody know who they are.
1,000 bars. I apologize.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wayno, Monroe. I'm the ambassador. Born and raised right here in Baltimore City. My parents were activists. They came up under like Dr. John Henry Clark, Van Sertima, Dr. Ben Ashworth. They used to bring all the speakers in, so I was very Afrocentric growing up, but that still couldn't prevent me from getting my ass whipped by the police growing up. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, growing up in the Dofield area, raised in Dofield, Edgewood, we got involved with the group NSL, Natural Street Livers. We were just hustling from town to town, doing what we do, you know what I mean, trying to survive out here regardless of the education. That all that black history couldn't save us. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what I do is kind of like what you just asked, is, you know, I'm like a black lobbyist. I lobby for, you know, our communities. You know what I'm saying? Resources, funding, you know what I mean? And down in Dofield, we got over 250,000 for races and slots for the next 20 years, every year for the next 20 years. We done got $100,000 in the Boys and Girls Club, $20,000 Callaway Elementary School. We got like 15 black contractors getting city contracts. You know what I'm saying? Right now, they're in the process of surplusing a couple of city buildings, and we going after them so we can do exactly what every last one of these brothers are telling you that we're doing right here. So you know what I mean? Yeah, it has grown and it has moved a lot. We inside these schools, we inside the jails, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and the regular conversations from folks that contact us about, you know what I mean, micromanaging. Even if it's a sister that call us and say, yo, I need help getting out of this spot because I got this abusive man here. You know what I'm saying? I'm afraid to leave. Sisters that be prostitute, you know what I mean, contacting me about going over there and getting them out the situation. You know what I'm saying? Off of the strength of just 300, a lot of times, I don't even got called none of them. Because when I say, yo, I gotta go make this move doing this, if for any of the men that are around me know that I'm gonna make this move, they gonna get involved. I ain't even gotta holler at none of them. Because our movement is so strong. It's brothers in wheelchairs that's ready to get out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I got contacted by the groups from the Black Wolves it was. They try and partner with. I ain't even get the rap y'all. You know what I'm saying? But everybody is moving because it's just that time. And it took us to get out here, you know what I mean, put that fight in, scrap and all of that for us to move forward.
My name is Bones 300. I perfect the art of meditation. As far as, doing yoga, meditating so individuals can actually, enhance the way that they think, the way they move, the way they elevate in life. And my job is to keep individuals level-headed so they can, proceed.
No, that's love. And, kind of the more I'm listening, it's like you guys are like kind of like, in a sense like a super team. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody does the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We can continue with you, brother.
My name's Damian Times. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm like the go-to guy. Like I'm the guy you go to whenever you need something done, like beyond the borders, beyond what's the norm. You understand? Like I really believe in the movement. Like, and we're pushing like worldwide. Like there's a lot of things we got going on. Like the brothers said, it's more so about the empowerment of our people. All we gotta do is teach unity. We don't even gotta teach it because every black person knows we need to unify. And it's cool to say that until you are faced with a black person that doesn't understand unification. That is perfectly fine until you deal with a woman that does not understand that you are a king and she is a queen. Because we all have been misled. That is our biggest problem right there, that we have been misled. We have been misguided. We're confused with who we are as people, period. When you hear king, you don't even, it don't even register that you're a king. When you hear queen, that don't even register because they saying you gotta get your body done. They saying you gotta sell drugs. They're saying you gotta shoot somebody. So when we have to bring that to the people. We got to bring the unity back to the people. It ain't about a geographical location. Is if you really want change, then you really want change. And it starts with you. It don't have to be a group of people. It starts with you to say that I don't want my legacy. I don't want my children. I don't want my brother's children to suffer the same fate that we suffered because we was misguided.
Peace and Black Power.
Peace, man.
My name is Dante. I'm the founder of Grace for Cuts. Our organization pretty much teaches the young kids African liberation, and I'm also a supporter of 300 Gangstas.
Rest in peace to the homie, man.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to my brother Rocco Jefferson.
He was just killed, man. Rest in peace, homie.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to all of the fallen. Whether it was done by police, whether it was done by another black man, we can't keep talking about Black Lives Matter. Because black lives only matter to us. We need to talk about black unity. That's what we need to talk about. We need to unify as a people. Wherever you from, wherever the biggest city, the smallest town, we need to get together and say we're no longer spending our money. Because that's what they care about. It's not about marching. It's not about fighting. It's about where you spend your money. The day that we say there is no such thing as a goddamn Christmas. I don't even know what a tooth fairy is. We live in the ghetto. When we start saying we're not going over here for this Black Friday, that we're gonna shop at retail, that's when they're gonna start taking notice. Until we get together and understand that and start empowering each other, willing to listen to each other, we're gonna repeat history and may the world see what our future holds. We're getting older. These younger people with all of this drug, the agenda that is being pushed with this homosexuality, you're not even allowed to speak about homosexuals in real life. You're not even allowed to say, oh, you are homosexual, not understanding that you have your own children, where that's not the agenda you pushing in your home. The emasculation of the black man, which has always been the agenda. Y'all take away the black man, y'all take away us as a people. You allow the Europeans to mate with our black women because we don't no longer measure up to what they deem fit as a man. We need to look further than what's going on. We need to look further than what we is taught in school. What the local gangster, gangbanger, super big homie, whoever you think you is. We need to look past that message. We need to look within ourselves and say that I no longer want to live in this poverty, and I no longer want my people to live in this, when it's just to say peace to you, King. Good morning to you, Queen. That's all it takes for us to start really loving one another again.
You're right.
Yo, I'm Ray Luda, and basically I'm down with the 300 Gangsta entertainment aspect of things. And to counteract on, to piggyback off the brother, a lot of entertainers are put at a higher level. People look up to them, but they have been given a certain agenda to push. And so what we represent is the antithesis to that. Basically, all of the things that they're trying to break down, we build up through music. So we're using music, entertainment, films, and all of those same tools that they use to break us down to build us up. And that's pretty much my job, to use those same tools that they use to hurt us, to help us.
You know, very powerful. And
And I am Shanika. I'm Big Wolf's queen. All I can do every day is just pray from the time he leave out the house to the time he come back, that whatever they do, they have to do in the streets, that they all make it home safe.
Nah, yo, that's real, man. Yo, guys, I truly appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to speak to you guys. I know this is only the beginning. Mm-hmm. You know, I definitely want to come back, and I want to be a part of the movement. You know what I'm saying? Because this is definitely dope. And,
300.
you know, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, at the end of the day, we all are here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Death is promised to all of us, so we might as well look for something. Well, and once again, man, where could we go to, you know, join in, help out, you know what I'm saying, reach out and things like that?
Just go on any website. I mean, any social media, Instagram, Facebook, and just put in 300 Gangsters. It'll pop right up.
Definitely shout out.
Thank you for being here.
300 Gangsters, you up?
100%, fam.
We all we got.
I'm sorry. My brother
I got a question for y'all real quick.
Yeah,
I got
what's up?
a question. I hear y'all talking about separation. I get the feeling that you're a nationalist, a black nationalist type of organization.
Of course.
Okay, but before we get it,
No label.
how do we define nationalism?
No label.
That's the question.
Now, see, I understand the whole no label thing, but I'm using terms. Now, how do I find black nationalism?
Yeah.
It's for black people, about black people. You are black people exclusively.
Okay, well now let's go. Because now if we're gonna deal with the original people of the planet Earth, you have to understand that the original people of the planet Earth consist of black, Hispanic, Oriental as well. So if you're looking at a skin tone as defining nationalism, then that's the wrong concept. Because in the beginning, the whole planet Earth was Asia.
Come on.
So if we're dealing with the whole planet Earth as a unison, before the Caucasian man was even invented, notice that before he was invented, let's be mindful of that.
Indeed.
Then we're not dealing with quote unquote black nationalism. We're dealing with truth. And if truth offend you, fuck you.
I can dig. So then your organization does in fact welcome Chinese, Mexicans.
We welcome anybody that understands that the condition that the black American is in is the worst condition throughout the planet Earth, and is willing to put forth the effort and work to making sure that we as black Americans resurrect first to being our original self. If that's not your first priority, then your priorities are out of line.
Later, break down the 300 Gangsters. Break down that, you know.
The acronym?
You want me to go there? All right, well, let's deal with
that's what it's
Because
related
understand
to.
that when we say gangsters, we're saying gathering all nations, gaining salvation through advancing society. Gangstas. Understand the reality of that. If you're not about gathering all nations, gaining salvation through advancing society, then you have the wrong concept. Now, on that end, in order to advance society, you must first realize that those that are rejected, despised, and cast aside, which happens to be us, the original man, woman, and child in America, the black people, if you're not willing to elevate us, the real children of Israel first, then your priorities are already out of whack and you're not going to be in season with what's going on. We're not against white folks. We're going to do with that. That's whatever white folks got going on. White folks, do what the fuck you do. Go eat some leopards or some shit. Whatever the fuck you do, go do that. But if you're not understanding what we doing, then don't comment on what the fuck we doing. It's just that simple. We respect you being in the caves, fucking your dogs, eating your dogs, whatever the fuck you do. We respect that. We don't talk about that. We leave that history in the back burner where you left it, in the caves, pretending like you originated society in Britain. You didn't. I'm here to expose the truth. The truth is you were civilized by black people through our educational system, starting in Spain. It didn't start in the Caucasus, man. It started in Spain specifically. That's right. Through the Moors. Now, we're going to deal with this shit since you want to play games with our education. Now, once we educated your asses, you turned around and said y'all were Jews. And you created your religion to make you seem chosen. Well, guess what? Time's up. I'm sorry. You lost at 1914. Time was over with. We're taking our place back. If you offended by that, fuck you. Trump, if you offended by that, fuck you, suck a sick nigga dick. Don't nobody care. You want to build a wall to keep out the Mexicans and whoever you want to keep out. Yes, I'm being political. Yes, I'm overstepping my boundary because it's not supposed to be a political moment and all that, whatever the fuck. God rules and you looking at him, so deal with him. Bottom line. Now, as I was saying earlier, forgive the digression. We as a people must come together and unify in order to put us in the rightful place we must be. If that is not the agenda, then you are wrong. Period. Bottom line, when society gave us the ghetto, the projects, and isolated us to a low-income area, they gave us the platform we needed to build our own communities. It's on us to revitalize that community through owning the stores in that community. Not the Arabs, the Pakistanis, the Indians, and whoever else, the Orientals or whatever else they want to call themselves. That's all stores to own. That's all land to fertilize. I'm telling all you hustlers, listen to me. Look at my face and understand what I'm telling you. My name is Blaylin Snoddy. Find me on Facebook. I don't care. Look me up. Take your money. Monopolize it legally. Pool your resources. Buy those corner stores. Buy those liquor stores. Utilize those buildings to promote black economics, not to poison our kids. That's what you do with your money. Fuck them Jordans, fuck them new Nikes, fuck them Polos and them Reeboks and all that other, fuck that shit. Use your money to empower our people. Use your money to create scholarships and grants for your own kids, our kids, black youth, black talent. Open up businesses. If you're tired of me talking, get some earplugs, because I ain't through yet. Trust me on that. You're going to hear a lot more from me next year, I promise you. With that, I'm done.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
Because the brother had mentioned the homosexual agenda, the brother in the back mentioned it as well. What is 300 Gangstas' position, stance on homosexuality?
Stance on homosexuality. Hold up, stop. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Now, we're going to be honest. Let's be real. Check this out, right? I don't personally, and I'm speaking on behalf of 300 Gangstas when I say personally, I don't understand what make a man think he a woman and what make a woman think she a man. And if you think as a man you a woman, you fucked up. If you think as a woman you a man, you fucked up. I don't care if the lesbian, gay, biology, transsexual shit, whatever your community is, get offended by this. My name is Blaylin Snoddy. I'm here. Deal with me. It's fucked up. There's no way humanly possible that you can be created a man and or woman, born, produced to be a man or woman, and say, well, you know what? Biology is wrong. I'm actually a female or I'm actually a male. That's not reality. That's a fantasy world that's promoted by Hollywood and the government. Now, I can go into biblical scriptures to verify this same thing with the modern Sodom and Gomorrah. I can deal with that. But of course, we live in a society where you can't be religious. So I'm going to tell you scientifically, there is no such thing as a gay gene. That's a choice you made because you were either molested as a child, you felt neglected as a child, or you were raised by a one-sided household. And you adjusted to that mentality to make yourself comfortable in your one-sidedness. That's the reality of it. Bottom line. 300 gangsters ain't got no faggots, no lesbians, no gays, no bisexuals, no confused people, no transgenders, no transsexuals, no cross-dressers, no drag queens. And if I left anybody out of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, I apologize, we don't have you either. That's equal rights. You're all rejected equally. Damn!
Right on.
That's cool. That's
Black power. I got some new.